Commander Lisa Reed had never intended to make history. At 29, she was already the youngest fleet commander humanity had ever produced, a distinction that earned her as much resentment as respect among the older brass. They called her the prodigy behind her back, sometimes admiringly, often not. Today, standing on the bridge of the UES Intrepid, she faced the greatest challenge of her short but remarkable career. Before her, the holographic display showed an alien armada that outnumbered her forces 5-1. The Vexar ships hung in space like predatory fish, their hulls gleaming with a metallic blue sheen that had become all too familiar to human forces. During the last 3 years of conflict, "Tactical assessment," Lisa commanded, her voice betraying none of the anxiety churning in her stomach. Lieutenant Taylor responded immediately. 37 Vexar vessels, Commander. 5 dreadnoughts, 18 cruisers. The rest are support craft. They've positioned themselves between us and the jump point. Lisa nodded, studying the formation. The Vexar weren't just blocking their escape. They were setting up for their signature encirclement strategy. In 3 years of war, no human fleet had ever broken that maneuver once it was fully deployed. "Open a channel to all ships," she ordered. The communications officer nodded. "Channel open, Commander." Lisa took a deep breath. "This is Commander Reed. All vessels maintain current positions. Prepare to execute Protocol Omega on my mark." She paused, feeling the weight of what she was about to attempt. "Remember your training. Remember Earth. Read out." Protocol Omega was her creation, a desperate, theoretically sound but untested tactic that even her closest advisors had warned against. It required perfect timing, absolute precision, and a level of coordination between ships that many deemed impossible. But Lisa had run the simulations countless times. It would work. It had to. "Enemy vessels are advancing, Commander," reported Lieutenant Taylor. "Encirclement pattern confirmed." "Wait for it," Lisa said softly, eyes fixed on the tactical display. The alien ships moved with a fluid grace that had always fascinated her, even as they destroyed human colonies and outposts. Their technology was superior, their tactics refined over centuries of interstellar warfare. But they had one weakness. One she had discovered by spending countless sleepless nights analyzing every recorded encounter. "Mark in 3, 2, 1. Execute Protocol Omega." The human fleet moved as one organism, each ship following the precise course Lisa had plotted. The Intrepid led the charge, diving toward the center of the Vexar formation at maximum acceleration. To any observer, human or Vexar, it would have appeared to be a suicide run. The alien vessels reacted predictably, shifting to tighten their encirclement and bring their primary weapons to bear. Just as they committed to the maneuver, the human fleet split into 3 distinct groups, each targeting a specific segment of the Vexar formation. "Concentrate fire on the designated coordinates," Lisa ordered. "Full power to forward shields." The space between the fleets erupted with energy as both sides opened fire. But unlike previous engagements, the human vessels weren't aiming at the Vexar ships themselves. They were targeting specific points in space just ahead of the alien vessels. "All ships, deploy gravitational mines, now." From the human vessels streamed thousands of small dark objects barely visible against the backdrop of space. The Vexar ships, committed to their encirclement pattern, flew directly into the field of devices. On the tactical display, Lisa watched as the mines activated, creating localized distortions in space-time. The effect on the Vexar ships was immediate and devastating. Their precise formation collapsed as ships suddenly found themselves pulled in unexpected directions, their propulsion systems fighting against artificial gravity wells. "Second phase," Lisa commanded. "All ships, execute targeting pattern Read 7. The human fleet regrouped with astonishing speed and opened fire on the now disorganized alien armada. Each shot struck with precision, targeting the propulsion and weapon systems that Lisa's analysis had identified as vulnerable. Within minutes, 5 Vexar vessels were disabled. Within 10, that number had tripled. "The Vexar flagship is hailing." "Us, Commander," announced the communications officer, surprise evident in his voice. Lisa nodded. "On screen." The view screen filled with the image of a Vexar commander, tall, with iridescent blue skin and eyes that seemed to contain galaxies. When it spoke, the ship's translation system converted the complex harmonic tones into English. "Human commander," the Vexar said. "You have done what no species has accomplished in 3 centuries. You have defeated a superior Vexar force in direct combat." Lisa stood tall. "We want peace, not victory. We've demonstrated that we can fight you, but we'd rather not." The alien was silent for a long moment. "Our histories tell of rare species worthy of respect rather than conquest. Today, humanity has joined that small group." It bowed its head slightly. "I am Admiral Tor of the Vexar Dominion. My fleet stands ready to receive your commands. Commander Reed of Earth." The bridge fell silent as the implications of these words sank in. In Vexar culture, a defeated admiral pledged temporary allegiance to the victor. It was a tradition older than human civilization. "Admiral Tor," Lisa replied carefully, "I accept your pledge. Our first order is to establish a diplomatic channel between our peoples." Within hours, the news spread throughout human space. The fleet's youngest commander had not only defeated the seemingly invincible Vexar Armada, but had somehow turned them from enemies into allies. 6 months later, the formal alliance between humanity and the Vexar Dominion was signed. The ceremony took place aboard the Intrepid with Lisa Reed, now promoted to Admiral, representing Earth. As she and Admiral Tor signed the historic document, she caught his alien gaze. "You knew, didn't you?" she asked quietly. "That I'd discovered your weakness?" Tor's expression was unreadable to most humans, but Lisa had studied Vexar physiology extensively. "We suspected," he admitted. "But knowing a weakness exists and exploiting it are very different things. No commander in our history had the vision to use it against us. You earned our respect, Admiral Reed. And in the war that comes, the one against the Void Collective, we will need leaders like you." Lisa nodded solemnly, looking out at the combined human and Vexar fleet assembled beyond the viewport. She had been the youngest fleet commander in human history. Now she would be the first to command an interspecies armada against a threat that endangered them all. The burden was immense, but for the first time since the war began, she felt something she had almost forgotten: hope.